This video has been sponsored by Construct.
Come on, are you kidding me? This game needs some zombies.
Today we will be turning the original GTA games into a zombie survival top-down shooter. As a kid, I grew up on Nintendo consoles, so I never really played the old GTA games.
I got away with playing some of the more mature games by using websites like Miniclip and Addicting Games.
It wasn't until March 2009 when Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars was released for the Nintendo DS that I got to experience the franchise for the first time.
It's a Nintendo game, so it's gotta be kid-friendly, right?
I remember playing this game and thinking it was quite cool, but nothing compared to going over to your buddy's house and playing some Call of Duty Zombies. Well, let's combine these two game ideas into one experience made over a weekend. Oh, also, I'll be developing this game in Construct, which I literally have 1 hour of experience using. No tutorials will be allowed, so let's pray to God we can actually make a working game. When creating any project, I'll usually start by making most of the assets for the game so I have a general idea of the theming and aesthetic. I know most developers tell you to do the opposite and create a prototype with no visuals, but personally I think either method is fine as long as you're okay with potentially tweaking your assets down the road, or if you've got the full idea in your head as to how the game is going to operate when it's in its finished state. I've been making games for quite a few years now, so I kind of know what I need to do in order to create this project. I've got a vision in mind and I only have a few days, so scope creep shouldn't be too much of an issue. Day one comes to an end with the finished assets. Something I'll usually do with most of my smaller games is form all of my visuals around a clean color palette. I've never actually made a top-down game before, so I'm not going to say these are the best sprites in the world, but I don't have too much time to spend on the visuals. I stuck with a 12x12 based pixel sizing for my sprites for a clean and simplistic design. You got a player character, some roads, zombies, weapons, buildings, cars, and some UI elements to get the job done. Yeah, I hear you screaming at your TV.
Excuse me, how is that a house? It's just a pile of glass panes and some square thingies.
Well, introducing Construct 3's new 3D feature. Create a new object, make it a 3D shape, import your faces, and that's it. You have just made a 3D object in a 2D game. That's right, we are taking this game into a 2.5D style, combining 2D assets with 3D structures to give more depth and give our visuals a bit more of a unique look. Day 2 is where we start to actually develop the game in engine. We start with a quick prototype of the player character rotating towards the mouse's position, and then work in some movement and animation. Next up, we add in those sexy buildings we worked on earlier. Every game needs some floor assets, so grabbing our road textures, we can slap those into our game room and add in player collisions with solid objects in our scene. So now that we've made a couple objects, I think it's time to play around with this 3D effect a little bit more. So after scouring a bit in the documentation, I figured out that there was actually a shadow function for 3D objects. So if I drag in my light here, and I just make this preview, we should be able to see some shadows, and I really like how this works. You can adjust things like the height of the shadow and the height of the light and all that kind of stuff. So this is what I've found to work for me, and so we're probably just going to slap this somewhere around the middle of the screen, and then all of our buildings will have shadows. Hopefully everything's got some shadows. Nice, let's go, baby. This is peak evolution right here. This is technology. We aren't going to win any awards for this lazy map creation, but our game is actually starting to form into something at this point. To end off day 2, I decided to stream the game's development and work on the zombies and weapons to add in an actual objective for the project. There we go. Okay. Look at this, guys. 45 remaining, and then watch this. Watch this. 42, baby. Haha. Let's go. 41. It works. The final day. Boy, do we have a lot to cover here. I started the day with a nice little bite animation for the zombies to actually attack the player, implemented a HUD layer in the game, and created a counter to see how many zombies remain on the map. Our croissant hitman needs some new skills though, so I upgraded the stud, giving him his own driver's license, and put some new whips for the kid to drive around and run over zombies. Cars are quite strong as the zombies can't damage you when you're inside, and when the Honda Civic hits over 20 kilometers an hour, the zombies will die instantly. So in order to make these cars balanced in game, we had to make them rare to find, but this is also where the fuel meter comes in. Think of the cars as this game's star power from the Super Mario games. When you find one, you should use it wisely and not waste it, as it will run out eventually. The car is always in idle, so your fuel will drain slowly over time. The faster you drive, the more fuel gets drained, and later on, I also decided to make the fuel drain per zombie kill. The reason I'm doing this is because you can no longer train a million zombies together and run all of them over without using any extra gas. The car is still a strong weapon, don't get me wrong, but it should be used both defensively and offensively depending on your current situation. Personally, I like to use the cars to drive around, kill a few zombies, and then move away into a safe location, finding new cars and weapons along the way. I added in a few sound effects, and now the game is finished. Or, well, I thought it was. I got so many messages in my live chat over developing the game on people asking if the game could be endless instead of a simple search and destroy gameplay loop. I kept putting it off and excusing it through me not having the mental capacity to figure out how to do an endless game mode, as I am super new to Construct and it would take too much time, but your boy pulled through, and goddamn was this the right decision. So originally, you had this little arrow thing pointing to where the nearest zombie is, so you could always just use this to run around the map finding and killing zombies. However, the game felt more like a tedious hide-and-seek simulator rather than a zombie survival game. After a few changes to the zombie AI and a whole lot of difficulty scaling and balancing, we now have an endless horde mode gameplay loop. There is a pre-made map with a few zombies, weapons, and cars, but weapons now spawn frequently on the map, along with cars dropping as a super rare drop, and the zombies will continuously get more and more difficult with their spawn rate slowly dropping as time goes by, and their movement speed slowly ramping up as well. The last piece of the puzzle is breaking down the scoring system. The old zombie remaining didn't really make any sense anymore, so I had to conclude a point system. Regular zombies will give you 2 points for every kill, a runner zombie will give you 4, and killing a zombie with a throwing knife will grant you an additional 1 bonus point for rewarding a more risky playstyle. I got a few of my roommates to test the game, and we immediately got hooked on trying to beat each other's high scores. If the game looks easy, well, just you wait for that 10-minute mark when the runner zombies are almost outrunning you. I made sure to keep the game balanced and fun, slowly ramping up the difficulty that will eventually outskill your skills no matter how good you might think you are at video games. As of editing this video, I have managed to get a top score of 1,159, which by no means is the highest possible score, but this is quite a decent accomplishment compared to the playtesters of the game at the moment. I mean, it's just a little flex. If you guys are interested in top-down shooter games, I would highly recommend giving this game a go. I released the game over on itch.io completely for free for anyone to play with no download required. If the game gets enough donations, I will consider turning this small prototype of a game into a true indie game with menus, music, more weapon options, zombie types, more levels, and more everything. Monster Tribe is obviously still my main priority, but I personally had a blast making this game over such a small period of time. I've definitely learned a lot, and I can definitely say I understand Construct to a certain degree, so I would love to start up some side projects in the near future. Personally, I found that Construct was a great program to use, and honestly, this is something that I would highly recommend to anybody looking to get into game development for the first time, or as somebody just looking to try an engine that might be a little bit easier to understand. I've been making games for over 4 years, and I'm still having a blast with this drag and drop visual scripting system. It's just a nice way to get a new perspective, and it doesn't make you any less of a game developer using something like this. If it works for you, that's all that matters. Honestly guys, I can't stop imagining this game with levels inside actual houses like in Call of Duty Black Ops, where you have to cover the exits, rebuild barricades, and buy upgrades as you progress through the waves of zombies. So as I said before, if we can get enough plays on the game and possibly a few donations, I will heavily consider expanding on this small prototype in the future. If you do end up giving the game a go, I just created a Boundless Games high score tab where you can take a screenshot of your best run and post it on the Discord. If anyone can beat my high score, which will be the first pinned message on the new Discord channel, just know I will be very impressed. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out the links in the description to play the game completely for free, join our Discord to post your high score, and check out Constructs to create even better games than this in a matter of a few hours or days. We actually have an upcoming game jam happening June 20th to June 27th, so if you do develop games or are looking to start trying, I think this is a great opportunity to give it a go. Good luck, and thank you all for watching today's video.